Bonjour, mes amis. WWE Clash in Paris takes place this Sunday, August the 31st in Paris, France. And we've got 5 big matches we're going to be talking about on today's show, including the Women's Intercontinental Championship on the line. Becky Lynch defending against Nikki Bella. We've got Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, going against the Tribal Thief of Bronson Reed, wearing the Shield of Fala. We've got a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match where Sheamus will take on a Rusev. We've got a fatal 4-way for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Freakin Rollins defending against LA Knight, Jey Uso, and CM Punk. And, of course, John Cena will be on his farewell tour taking on Logan Paul. That is the match card, and it's myself and NX Steve in the hot seat. Great to have you on board, as always, NX Steve. First question for you, as always, what is your excitement levels out of 10 for WWE Clash in Paris?
5, maybe. I don't think there's a lot on here that's really kind of, I don't know, like I almost feel like it's not really worth being on the card. I mean, like, I'm not being funny. A good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. I honestly couldn't care about a Donnybrook match, and this match has been played out on TV so much that it's kind of like, oh, we couldn't think of anything else to put on this show. I think the Fatal 4-Way will be good. I'm hoping that the Cena Logan Paul match goes another way. I can't believe that someone like Nikki Bella, who hasn't had a singles match in the longest time, is a credible opponent for Becky Lynch. And Roman versus Bronson should be a load of fun, but again, they're fighting over trains, for God's sake.
Thanks for watching, everyone. It's been a great stream. We'll see you next time. No, I get your point of view. I do get your point of view. Look, I'm at probably a 6.5, but I'm going to bash it up to a 7. And do you know why? Paris, this fan base is going to be louder. They're going to make this show seem probably better than what it's going to be on paper. But what I was saying is that...
Understand the word they're saying, though.
Does it matter? Does it matter? I love energy. I love it. I mean, to be fair...
I was going to say, I saw a video of them reinforcing where the camera's going to go, apparently, because of the last time when it was bouncing.
I can't wait. Let's see if it actually succeeds this time. I think it's going to be loud. I think it's going to be fun. But yeah, I'll bump it up to a 7 just because of Paris. But yeah, as a match card, I'm going for a 6 just purely because I think in places this card feels predictable, but there could be 1 or 2 surprises on the horizon, which will keep you hopefully a little bit hooked for a couple of predictions later on. But I would agree with you. Sheamus versus Rusev, couldn't give a shit. Yeah, what match are you most looking forward to?
Honestly, Logan Paul versus John Cena, because I want it to go a certain way, and I think that's the one I have the most anticipation for with the result.
Fair play to that one. I think the Fatal 4-Way is the match I'm most looking forward to. I think that they're usually a lot of fun. So, and Seth, despite the fact that, like I say, some matches seem predictable, some don't, I still think there's a lot of fun that you can do with this. And probably my best fantasy booking twist comes through this match on my predictions. So I'm going to go with that match. But I will give a low-key shout-out to Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella because, unlike probably most, I've enjoyed the build. I like the promo work between the two. So that will be my runner-up for this show.
Yeah, I can see that. It's... Look, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to sit there and think the last time we had a Paris show, and I'm trying to sit there and think to myself, like, I can't even remember the card, and I remember obviously AJ Styles, because AJ Styles was just a thing, and I'm like, I'm trying to compare this to the last time we had what was it even? It was Backlash in Paris, wasn't it, last year? I believe. I don't know. This feels like just such an underwhelming card, and I don't know where. Like, look, Stephanie Vaquer hasn't got her match on here, which is a bit of a bummer. I don't know why she hasn't been on TV either. Like they've not announced anything to do with what's happening with that women's title. Like, I would have been so much happier, I think, if we'd have had Stephanie Vaquer on this match card.
I agree. We'll talk about it now quickly before we start because I was going to bring it up partway through the stream. But yes, Stephanie Vaquer obviously was supposed to take on Naomi on this show originally for the Women's World Championship. Of course, Naomi has been announced that she's pregnant, so she's vacated that Women's World title. WWE have kind of known for a few weeks that this is going to happen, but they've actually just pulled any title match and Stephanie Vaquer's opportunity away from this show. We're going to get an announcement next week on Raw in Paris of who the opponent will be, when the match will be. I'll give you a clue. WrestlePalooza, I'm pretty sure, is the place that's going to happen. Indianapolis head-to-head with AEW. Little spoiler, I'm predicting it's against Io Sky as well.
Yeah, I just hope they don't have to make Vaquer qualify for that again. I think that it should be a tournament and they face Vaquer for the title at WrestlePalooza. Not Vaquer has to be entered into this tournament because you're like, well, what's the point? She's already done the hard work. She had a match. She was guaranteed a match, and now she hasn't got it. So hopefully, it's like I said, she's still guaranteed to be on that card in that match.
I think she will be. Pierce has already said he's got an opponent in mind, so I'm guessing that it's just going to be set and put forward from next week. So we'll find out though on Raw in Paris how that's going to play out. But it's a bit disappointing Stephanie Vaquer is not on this show. We're big fans of Stephanie Vaquer. If you are, that's a good reason to hit that like button. And if you're not a fan of Stephanie Vaquer, still a good reason to hit the like button because we're going to move on now to a different topic. In fact, we go into the comment section and talk to our chat very quickly. Pierre in house says, hey guys, says, are we doing today? We are doing well and good to see you're doing good as well. It's always good to see. C Nation in house as well. Good to see his C Nation dog. He's got his predictions available on YouTube, so make sure you're going to check them out after you've checked ours out. We're going to talk about Pierre's comment quickly as well, but we will be sticking. This is a little bit of an early thing for you for those that are tuning in now. We're doing a Q&A straight after this. So topics like this, like Bailey, we will talk about in more detail there. But I will just say very quickly, I am loving what they are doing currently with Bailey on Monday Night Raw. I will just say that for now, but we can go in more detail, Pierre, when we get to the Q&A after this video, because it's going to be back to back. That's what we're going to do for you here today. Pierre goes on to say as well that make Io versus Stephanie Vaquer, Rio versus Io or Stephanie triple threat match of WrestlePalooza. That I'm also kind of down for because, yeah, why not? That sounds pretty good. We've got as well C Nation saying that it looks like a good show for Clash in Paris. He's happy with the card there, but disappointed we won't get AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio at that show. It will be, of course, on Raw instead. And he asks as well, will the Q&A be about any wrestling company? Yes, any wrestling company is open for discussion on that Q&A. But right now we're at Clash in Paris and we need to dive into our first match because hell, we've got 5 of them to get through to get to that Q&A. And hey, we've got a good one to start off with. For the Women's Intercontinental Championship, we've got Becky Lynch taking on Nikki Bella. The battle of the promo work when it comes to these two. It's been a fun time. Brooklyn ate up this entirely when Becky Lynch was given a bit of dirt from Nikki Bella, saying that her only relevancy is the fact she's got a wrestling husband that's a world champion. She replied saying, well, you used to be the power couple of... Wait. I don't see him anymore. And Brooklyn completely ate it up, which, of course, they love that line. And, of course, this past week on Raw, it feels like this Nikki Bella's been biting a bit back into Becky Lynch as well, calling her cheap, calling her, well, a number of C words. Becky Lynch thought it was the C word at one point, but coward was even worse, apparently, and that go to do into accepting this title match. There's been a couple of beatdowns as well. Becky Lynch did beat down Nikki Bella, taken off TV for a couple of weeks, but Nikki this past week looked like she was going to get the advantage before Becky made the escape in Birmingham. Look, overall, this match, you said there, in a world, does Nikki Bella win an IC title when she's not had a singles match for a long time? But what I would say on a positive note, because I agree with that comment, by the way, but what I would say on a positive note, I've actually enjoyed the build. I think the promo work has built probably one of the better stories here. And I do actually think that on paper, it does read like a big match.
Yeah, no, I get that. Obviously, Nikki Bella being... is Nikki Bella in the Hall of Fame? I'm not even too sure if she is in the Hall of Fame. I believe she is, isn't she?
I'm not sure.
I think they get the winning... I'm sure they pair with them winning together. Regardless, look, future Hall of Famer, if she's not already in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, promo work's been really good, aside from, the odd Birmingham promo this week that didn't really go down too well, and, WWE kind of shot themselves in the foot with that one, but I digress, we move on. Yeah, Becky's been doing some great character work lately. I have a tendency to find Becky a bit insufferable as a heel, but this time round, it's not that bad, and I don't know, maybe it's the fact she's not talking about herself in the third person perspective anymore that she maybe that's the thing that's stopped rubbing me up the wrong way. But yeah, look, it's going to be an okay match. I think with this one, it's more of a case of, look, it's more of a what do they call it? Not a showcase, but an attraction. This is an attraction match. This is Nikki Bella that, how many years in the business, Hall of Fame guaranteed, versus Becky Lynch, who is arguably one of the biggest stars in the company today. It's just an attraction match, and yeah, like I said, it's a bit hard to get excited for it when I don't really see Nikki Bella as, like I said before, someone who I feel who in terms of kayfabe should be beating Becky Lynch for an IC title. Like I said, she hasn't had a singles match for ages. It's all been tag matches. I think it'll be okay for what it is, but I think Nikki is generally just a filler rival at this minute until we get something else for Becky Lynch.
Yeah, you took the other word I was going to say there because you said the traction. I was going to use the word filler. It's definitely an attraction match. It does feel suitable. Paris, that Nikki Bella's had that sort of legend status in WWE, coming for that big match here. That crowd as well, which has been mentioned a couple of times. Best wrestling crowd are going to be fire. We've had a few of them mentioned.
I don't know. The British crowd were pretty good this week on Raw. I think they were pretty banging in Birmingham.
I mean, to be fair, I'm biased to a British crowd, but we all got our opinions, and I think the French crowd is certainly up there. The European crowds,
really
let's tie it into one.
Good
European
answer.
crowds, they got it nailed down. But hey, look, this match, I think that like you said, it's filler. It's a placeholder to where we get Becky Lynch to the next part of the story. But in the meantime, it certainly is in my opinion, it's a credible feud. It's certainly one that puts the IC title on a PLE, which I think is great to see as well for the women's mid card. But yeah, Becky Lynch retains for another day. And I will say that I think this match is slightly ahead of time. I think that this was going to be a WrestlePalooza. However, with the Stephanie Vaquer match being pulled, looks like this match has taken its place. But yeah, I'm going for Becky Lynch for the win.
Yeah, no, I'm going the same. Yeah, and obviously with the lack of other women being on this match card, really, it was kind of a case of they needed to get some form of women's match card on here. So yeah, again, why it's probably been brought forward.
Absolutely. CD has said that believes that Becky Lynch has totally made this title prestigious. So I think Lara was doing a good job of it, but I have to agree. This has become now a title that is almost on every PLE. It's become that credible now that Becky Lynch has hold of it.
Yeah, Lara did a fantastic job with the run that she had, and now that you're putting people like Becky Lynch, these main event female wrestlers in that picture, it gives that title its lineage, its heritage, its prestige, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, they're doing the right thing about it, and look, it's just more opportunity for women to be on TV, and the fact, like you said, it's on near enough every pay-per-view. Where was we crying out for this with the men's IC title a couple of years ago?
Absolutely. To be fair, the only thing I will say is a knock, though, it's the only women's match on this show. Trips, we need to get at least a second match on there. And if not, you need to bump these shows up to 6 matches per PLE. Not good enough, in my opinion. But hey, that's just me. Pierre, not a fan of this match taking place on this show here. Thinks it should never have existed. It's not for everybody, but we're going to move on from it in a couple of seconds, PS. You're in luck. Mike says, hi guys, my level of excitement, 6.5. Doesn't look the best card, but hopefully the matches deliver. I kind of agree. I think the matches will deliver. I do feel that, I think it looks all right on paper, but I do feel that, I don't know, some of the matches seem predictable. I think this is probably its letdown. I mean, when you see CD says here, Nikki Bella has no chance of winning this. Kind of says it all.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with WWE pay-per-views. Like, we can normally tell going into the weekend whether it's going to be like heavily story-driven pay-per-view or if it's going to be a quality wrestling pay-per-view. And I get neither really. Like, this really feels like a mixed bag of both. Like you said, you've got this Nikki Becky match, which is one of the best built matches on the card. You've got the Cena Logan Paul match, which is at a short build. Same with the 4-way, but then again, the quality of wrestling in the 4-way should be really good. The Rusev match and Rusev and Sheamus match has been neither here nor there of either, I would think. Like, how many times have we seen Rusev and Sheamus wrestle? And the fact that we've had this match, like, I don't know, 17 times in the last, 3 weeks. Like, I've got no, do you know what I mean? I've got no attraction to this. So, yeah, it's a real mixed bag, this pay-per-view, which is a shame because, yeah, like I said, we normally get one or the other. It's normally a really good wrestling show or a really good storytelling show.
I'll have to see which one will deliver this Sunday, if either will do so. If not, it'll be just a fan-dominated show. Manila Noob in house, good to see you. Noob says Becky's winning this. To be honest, I get the feeling Stephanie Vaquer is winning the women's IC title from her. Do you know what? I'm agreeing with that comment. If I had to predict a next women's IC champion right now, if Vaquer's not winning the big one, I see her winning this one.
Yeah, I can agree with that as well. As much as I'd love to see Vaquer with the big gold belt, I think that, I say it's crazy. I'm going off the basis of what WWE normally book, and you never normally get someone come in fresh from NXT, fresh from the Indies or whatever, and win a big title. But then again, it is the world championship, and not the WWE championship. So you never know. Vaquer could win it.
Absolutely. Plans, I'm sure, have changed and that Naomi is not going to be around for a while. So let's see what WWE musters up when it comes to Raw in Paris, when it comes to the women's world title scene. CD says, give the stream a thumbs up like always. Thank you, CD. You are a star as always. And of course, if you're watching, whether it's on delay as well, hit that thumbs up. What are you waiting for? Now, I'm not going to lie. This wasn't second on the list, but as we've both said, we're not overly interested in it. I think we can skip over this quite quickly. Good old-fashioned Donnybrook match, Sheamus versus Rusev. Yes, they've had 3 matches in this series, 1 win apiece, and of course there was a pretty much a brawl. If it was like a double count-out, pretty much that decided that we needed to have this Donnybrook match for the show here. Look, to be honest, the toys will probably come out for this one. I think that's one thing that's fun about it. It's a weapons match, so that should be good at least about it. But the only note is that I took from this Monday on Raw, which maybe remotely interested in it at all, is the fact that Sheamus said, well, you came back, Rusev, and you were kind of like disappointing. And now that you've got a little bit of that fire back in you in the matches you've had with me, I'm slightly impressed now that you're back. But remember, whatever happens, I'm the one that put that fire back in you. Is that Sheamus is pretty much saying that Rusev is winning this match?
I'm going to say yes. I think Rusev wins this. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised that if Rusev wins this next week on Monday night on Raw in Paris, they're tag teaming they're going to be a tag team. They're going to be going for tag team gold. I almost feel like they're booking these two to be like the Bar 2.0, replacing Cesaro with Rusev. I can just see it happening because look, Rusev needs the win. Sheamus really doesn't. Sheamus doesn't need wins. He's there to put people over. Rusev desperately needs this, but then, like you said, where does he go after this? Because they're all tied up with the IC title with Dom and AJ at the minute, so he's got no chance at that. I don't know. Could he get a shot at Seth if Seth retains? I don't know, possibly, but I can see these two in a tag team come like within a month's time. These two will be fighting for tag team titles.
Interesting philosophy with that. I didn't even think about it because obviously they're really good friends in real life. So there is that thing that they could do that. That's a really interesting point. The only thing is you said something there because I was going to say Rusev's going to win this, but you just said a sentence that made me go, actually, what titles on Monday Night Raw? The Intercontinental Championship. What match has been bumped to Raw in Paris rather than being saved for WrestlePalooza? It's Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. Dom's going to retain that. Dom's going to retain that.
The IC title.
Sorry?
I said, who's never won the IC title as well?
Sheamus. Obviously, John Cena as well, which Dom's called out, by the way. He said, if Dom, it says, Cena, if you want some, come get some if you want that Grand Slam. So Dom's trying to put the feelers out there for that match. But Sheamus could be that next opponent. Sheamus and Dom is a match we haven't seen. So we could revisit Sheamus going back for the IC title. Just to make this stream interesting, I would go Sheamus, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rusev won this match.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just going to say Rusev just a big difference just because I think he desperately needs that win more.
Certainly, indeed. Interesting. Well, let's move on in the meantime back to the comments. An interesting take here from C Nation. Dog said Bayley's the next Women's World Champion. Stephanie Vaquer is the next Women's Intercontinental Champion. So perhaps Bayley, who's got a few voices in her head at the moment, certainly believes could be back in the world title soon. We'll have to wait and see if Adam Pearce has that in mind or not on Raw. CD says, I think WWE are wasting Sheamus. At the moment, I do feel Sheamus has not got a lot going on. He's been unlucky with injuries, to be fair, recently, but hopefully this will actually work into his favor being back on the PLE. I'm happy for Sheamus. He's back on the PLE, just not, I don't know, I'm not feeling the Rusev return. It's not worked for me so far, and I think that's the thing that's letting it down.
Sheamus is always going to be on the card when it's on a European tour. He's just one of them guys that, even though it's not in Ireland or in the UK, he will get like a hometown hero welcome in Paris. So it always works putting Sheamus on these cards.
Certainly does indeed. And of course, it was on the first clash, which you attended, by the way, against Gunther.
Yeah. I don't remember Sheamus being in the original League of Nations. Wasn't it Barrett? No, wasn't it Del Rio, Barrett, Rusev
and Sheamus?
Oh,
It
was
was
it really
those four.
Sheamus? I can't even remember.
Sheamus was
This is way
technically the leader. Technically, he was the one who was the world champion at the time.
Because I think thinking of Wade Barrett being in there automatically made me think Sheamus wasn't in it. But yeah, League of Nations 2.0, man, why not?
Absolutely. Don't have Roman beat all of them this time on his own. That's just the way that you shouldn't go about it. But speaking of Roman Reigns, let's move on in the meantime. Let's talk about the Tribal Chief versus the Tribal Thief. Of course, it's the Uber fella against the Shura fella. Honestly, if you need to buy shoes at the minute, Bronson Reed might have his own branch opening up anytime soon. He's been stealing a lot of Roman Reigns' footwear as of late. So if you've got the same shoe size as well, goes in your favor. He's been wearing them around his neck. And to be really honest, I know it's stupid. It's a feud about footwear. However, I do feel it's got Bronson Reed a little bit more over than what he was before. I think they've been quite clever with the little puns that they've done for Bronson Reed as well. It's just a shame that I do feel that Bronson is the first step of what ultimately will be Reigns versus Rollins again. Bron Breakker is something they felt like they were building towards before Bronson Reed took the first step in at SummerSlam. But I'm going to say this. I really want Bronson Reed to win this match. I think it would do so much for him to win on this show. Even if he was to lose in a later date, I'd love Bronson to win this, but early doors, I just can't see it.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that. With how Roman is booked in general, I'm sitting there thinking that just in general that this faction that Seth has needs to start being booked with wins, because most of the time, like, they're getting these wins on Raw every week, or do you know what I mean, they're standing tall at the end of the show with everyone they're jumping. But you need to win some matches, and I think getting a singles win over Roman will be a massive deal for Bronson. But I'm gonna go with Roman winning just because I have a theory with another match later on.
Oh, okay. And is that the one that we have yet to talk about? So we'll leave it till then.
Yeah,
Interesting.
That's the reason why.
Okay,
but it's nothing to do with factions. It's just something to do with the result of another match. But as I said, I digress. We'll talk about it when we get to it.
We might get there in a couple of moments if it's the match I think we're thinking of. So yeah, Look, at the end of the day, I will just say quickly, I feel that this is elevating Bronson. It's an interesting theory they've gone down. Unfortunately, though, I think this is going to be a Roman Reigns win here. I would love to see Bronson do it and they repeat this at the next show, WrestlePalooza, and then Roman can get his win. But just sadly can't see it, especially as you've probably noticed so far that I mean, I said Becky to win, heel. Originally, I was in Rusev's corner, but I've gone with Sheamus now. But I do feel like heels, there might be a few heel wins on this show. Let's just leave at that at this point. So, going for Roman here to pick up the win. Any final words before we go to the comments?
Nah, go for it, mate.
Let's go into those comments then. And we got first off here, C Nation Dog says Bronson Reed should win, but Roman will win. I think that's the key sentence there. Roman Reigns losing here won't hurt him, but he'll get his win back in War Games. The other note we should actually note here is this is Roman Reigns, if I'm not mistaken, first singles match since his return. Of course, is the last time he was singly wrestling was in a triple threat match in the main event of night 1 of WrestleMania. So that's my other feeling of Roman ain't losing on this show.
Yeah, there is that as well, yeah.
Yeah, Roman Reigns is going to destroy Bronson Reed and get his shoes back. Can you see him just lifting the shoes up in celebration like the Ulafala or a championship at the end?
It'll be so dumb. So dumb. Don't do it. It'll be cringe, man. Give them to a fan in the audience or something. Sign them and give them to a fan.
He might do it. You never know. Roman's he's a very wealthy man, Mr. Reigns. He's head of the table. I think he's bought new footwear since when he's appeared on wrestling shows. So Roman, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Sign them, give them away. That's the best way to go. We'll be talking more on a Q&A after this. So after we've done Clash in Paris, we actually can do a Q&A live. It's going to be a separate stream. So, you have to click into that. But we'll drop the link in at the end of the video. And we're going to talk about Asuka Io Sky storyline being interesting because Io and Rhea and Kairi are all involved in it. And it's been pretty fun. So, Noob, please drop that in there later on. We'll be talking about that. CD says, if Bronson Reed loses, then what will be his new gimmick? He'll just keep this gimmick after he becomes a loser. Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, where does Bronson go next? But he's currently the fall guy of this group. Do you think Seth's group, the Vision, needs a fourth member, a fall guy at this point, someone that can eat the pins, so Bronson doesn't have to do it?
Like a Waller or a Theory, yeah. But I think if you want to build Bronson Reed up, then yes, definitely 100% you need a fourth guy. But again, Bronson Reed is that guy that he can probably take losses and he'll get them back just as easy, no problems with, you know what I mean, how he's presented and what he's made out to be on TV.
Absolutely. Would you like a Tony D'Angelo? I mean, he feels more like a Don rather than a pin eater, but what do you reckon?
It's not a bad shout. For me, it's all about story and it's got to make sense. It's always the biggest thing with me. Like, you can say names, certain names you meant, like, I could turn around and say Ethan Page, 100% Ethan Page fits straight away. But you got to think about the presentation as well, and like Tony D'Angelo being this New York mob boss, like being an underdog or an underboss for Seth Rollins. I don't know how it works. So story, convince me with the story, and sure, I can believe it.
You need complete repackaging, in my opinion, if that's to work. But yeah, so I would agree. Ethan Page will be awesome, but I'm loving the Chelsea Green stuff. So they cannot.
Don't touch
break it.
Ethan Page. No. Leave him where he is. He's fantastic.
Just, if anything, put him on SmackDown. That's where he needs to go. But Ricky Starks could be someone that could work for that group.
Yeah, Ricky. Yeah. But the problem is now he's being set up to face Obafemi at No Mercy. So I don't think he's going anywhere for the minute.
Not for the minute. But we're going to be moving on for the minute. And the match that I think perhaps maybe NXT was talking about when he was mentioning Roman Reigns. It's a fatal four-way for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth freaking Rollins defending against not one, not two, but three challengers. He's not going to be pinned to lose that title. Main event, Jey Uso, LA Knight, and CM Punk. Quickly going through the names quickly and how they got here. LA Knight pinned Seth freaking Rollins on Saturday night's main event. You know, the time when Seth faked the injuries just so he could cash in about 5 weeks later, the Money in the Bank briefcase? That one. So LA Knight then got himself a championship match in Brooklyn, which of course then he got kind of cost the opportunity because the Vision got involved. CM Punk won the World Heavyweight Championship from Gunther at SummerSlam, and then Seth cashed in. You know, when he was injured, he faked the injury, and then 5 weeks later he cashed in. He cashed in on CM Punk. And then of course then there's Jey Uso, who I think simply just pinned Bronson Reed at SummerSlam. But of course he was a World Heavyweight Champion, never got his rematch. So as Roman said, you've done it for everyone else, do it for yourself. So that's pretty much why we got a fatal four-way. Your thoughts with this one? Because obviously CM Punk's wanted everyone to be on the same page, because obviously the Vision exists and it's the numbers game here. But the numbers are against Seth Rollins when it comes to this match here. But like we said at the start of the video, this match should be a fun one.
Yeah, this is going to be the highlight of the weekend for me, the one I most want to see, just because I think that, especially with the fact that Jey is going to be in there with 3 other people, you're going to protect Jey just in terms of match quality, because obviously just has a history of almost Bambi legging, or just having Bambi legs through certain matches. But we think with the fact that he's in a multi-man match should carry him well. The whole Punk LA Knight storyline I think is great, which, again, just to kind of repeat on what I said earlier, I could easily see these two being a tag team as a, do you know what I mean, a time, like, just to fill in the time between now and WrestleMania. But look, this last, it's probably going to be the most entertaining match of the weekend, but this is probably the most easiest to predict as well.
Yeah, this is the thing, and this is why I was like, it's almost a little too predictable, this one. The numbers are against Seth. I imagine Bronson loses earlier in the night, so therefore things feel a bit better for the faces. It's only Bron Breakker. Of course, there's no DQs in this kind of match as well. So I will propose an idea, because just quickly, your predicted winner?
Yeah, Seth Rollins. Seth retains.
Seth retains, yeah. He's just won the title. He's the big baddie on Raw, #1 villain. He's not losing here. But what you can do is you can use this opportunity to build his next opponent. And for me, I think the most interesting, now, Silk won't like this. He won't like this, but still, hear me out. What I think is, look, Jey Uso is not someone right now that's going to be facing Seth for the title. I think he's had his run. I think he's going to move down the card a little bit after this. He's going to be, arguably Roman's right-hand man. I think once again, perhaps moving into War Games and the Rumble and perhaps WrestleMania as well. LA Knight, I'm so happy to see him in this position. It's great to see him going for a world title on a PLE as well. It doesn't matter if it's the world heavyweight title. That's why you move him over to Monday Night Raw. But again, he's not winning here. CM Punk, this is the match that I think people want to see as a singles match after this, regardless of if it's now or later, is Rollins versus Punk. You've got a fatal 4-way match here. Why not make this darn thing interesting? Why not do a double pin? Why not you have Punk pin Knight and Rollins pin Jay at the same time? Cause confusion. Therefore, on Raw, you have it announced WrestlePalooza, Rollins versus Punk one more time for the World Heavyweight Championship at that PLE. And that way, obviously, Rollins would retain for the time being because he still is world champion and the decision not been fully made, so he keeps that title, but it just solidifies Punk as that number one contender. You've got your head in your hands, but tell me it's not creative and it's not more interesting than just simply Seth wins, lol.
It's not that it's creative. It's probably just the fact it's probably more predictable than just Seth winning. Like, all right, that's a bit of a harsh statement. It's not as predictable as what most people would have probably thought of. It's just something that logically could happen. For me, do you know what? I think the most important thing is regardless of who, like, essentially, if your scenario plays out or Seth just winning plays out, whoever gets pinned is the important one in this one. And it's like, look, what does every one of these guys do after when they lose this match? Where does Jay go? Where does Punk go? Where does Knight go? I can see LA Knight getting another attack. I can see LA Knight getting a one-on-one match against Seth Rollins, which is why I wouldn't be surprised if Seth pins Punk again.
Oh, interesting. So if Seth wins for me, this is how I think it's going to go down. I hate to say this. I think Knight's taking the fall. I think Punk will have Knight beat, and I think something will stop Punk from getting the pinfall, and I think Seth will roll over and get that pin, and it will be a case then of like, well, Punk had the match won, so we have to do this match. I know you said you felt this match would be WrestleMania bound. I've changed my tune. I think it's Rollins Roman at WrestleMania. We're playing the long game here of Roman going through the vision, which is another reason why I think it makes sense for Bronson to win the match. But I think they then will turn on to Braun Breaker, and then they've got a couple of months until War Games. So, yeah, I think that's where the Roman Seth stuff kicks in, unless you do Roman versus Seth at the Rumble, which is also a possibility that could go down as well. But look. I'm going to say, yeah, Seth wins, and you're going to lead this on to Seth versus Punk at WrestlePalooza because you're going head-to-head with AEW. And who's better going head-to-head with AEW than CM Punk?
Yeah, I know, but you can't drag Punk versus... Look, let's be honest. Punk versus Rollins is the most most want to see match. The most... You can pick two other superstars in the whole of the company. There isn't a match that needs to be a singles match more than those two put together. And to throw it on away on something like WrestlePalooza, it just seems so underwhelming. And like, there's so many other factors just to deal with, like Sammy, for example, because obviously he wants to be world champion and like the Rumble. And there's so many factors playing out. I just can't see him doing it. I mean, yeah, look, what you said probably makes a hell of a lot of sense. And that's probably the reason why they're going to do it. It just seems like such a waste to me because I feel like, look, I'm going to say this, and this is how I personally feel. Night 2 is the main event of WrestleMania, regardless. I don't care if you get the main event on Night 1. The closing match, the match that ends the pay-per-view, goes off air, and then when you carry on to your normal TV, is the main event. Punk is still owed a main event match. That match is going to be against Seth Rollins. You can't force that out another year. You can't drag that out another 12 months. You might as well just put Punk in a grave now and make Seth wrestle with Skeleton. It's the only way to do it. He's not getting any younger. They can't drag that out any longer, man.
I think Punk does get the Night 2 main event of WrestleMania, but I just don't think it's against Seth. I think Roman and Seth is Night 1. I think it's Punk and Cody on Night 2.
I don't want to see that, man. Do you know what? If that comes true, you and me might fall out.
I don't work for them. I just predicted
No,
it. That's all.
But you're willing it into Joey. You're willing it into existence, and I'm like, I hope not. But still, we'll find out in about 6, 7, 8 months' time when WrestleMania rolls around.
If anyone from WWE is watching and you're willing to offer me a job, though, I am willing to listen. But yeah, we're going to the comment. I think we're going slightly off track here. Let's go into the comments if it's a good time to do so. CD says Seth retains the World Heavyweight Championship. He ain't losing it till WrestleMania 42. I would agree with that. Yeah, WrestleMania 42.
Yeah, and he's going to lose it to CM Punk.
Have to wait and see. Have to see. He goes on to say as well that Seth Rollins' work was genius, but in kayfabe, Seth lost to LA Knight on purpose. If you think about it, yeah, he did. He genuinely did. He lost to LA Knight on purpose. Originally, I thought it was a bit of a dumb idea, but he said that so many people were targeting him. That's why he couldn't cash in Money in the Bank. So technically, it was genius. To be fair. To speak Carl from On the Mark Wrestling Podcast is in-house and the Main Event Wrestling Network. And of course, now one half of NXT Night Shift. I hope I've got all the plugs in for you there. They are doing on the Main Event Mixer, the Main Event Wrestling Network, a 12-hour stream. 12 hours, different shows every hour or two. It's like watching, if you're like a fan of Busted Open Radio. They might do WrestlePalooza content. You never know. They have got shows all the way through. It's like Wrestling Junkies. Tino's time's going to be on it. Tino's in the house with us right now. They got the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. They got everything going through the day. It's going to be a lot of fun. So go and check out the Main Event Wrestling Network. And of course, the Main Event Mixer, I believe, is the whole selection there. Cocktail of treats for you will be taking place for you. And I believe that's taking place this Saturday. Sorry?
I see what you did there. Cocktail of treats.
Absolutely. I do like a cocktail myself. Bit of a mojito man myself. Two-Speak, did not mind the fantasy booking. He said he would take it. So I'm happy with that. See, someone likes it. CD says, Jey Uso will take the pinfall in this match, I think. Fair play to that one. CD thinks we're going to get Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 42 when we get Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker at the show. Interesting, because that's different dynamics there. And I suppose it would make sense of putting Zayn on SmackDown, because why on earth would you take him away from Seth Rollins right now? Zayn is doing what Rollins wants until he wins the Rumble, I guess.
I'd actually prefer Braun versus Sami at WrestleMania if that was what they were going to do. I think if you're going to do Seth versus Roman, I'd prefer Sami versus Braun Breaker. I think that's a more interesting or a more balanced match, I think, where I can see either one of them coming out as winner.
Yeah, I'm not against it. I mean, to be fair, I'm liking all of what I'm reading, to be brutally honest here. I'm open-minded with wrestling at the moment. I think I know the direction, but I'm happy to go different ways. See, this is, I think we're getting Rollins versus Reigns at SummerSlam next year. That's a long play for that one, I can tell you. Tina's time, good to be back with the OGs. It's good to have you back, Tina, because what time is it? It's not Tiffy time, it's Tino's time. It's Tino's time every time. And CD goes on to say, sorry?
At least it's not Chico's.
No, it's not God.
Sorry
for those stateside. You need to Google that one, folks. CD says Rollins versus Punk at the Rumble. Bless you, Tina. Says hi, Steve. It's good that we've got some support there. CD says as well, Seth Rollins versus LA Knight and WrestlePalooza. So agreeing with you there, Rennie, Steve. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I see. C-Nation knows.
Absolutely. I think Tina wants me to be the next El Grande Americano. The fourth, I've lost track as well of how many there are at this point. That's a Google search needed as well.
Omos and Apollo Crews is the 7th and 8th El Grande Americanos place.
I want almost to be El Grande Americano at some point. I think
absolutely. I want everyone to be El Grande Americano. At this point, it's just become so dumb, and like, bless Ludwig Kaiser for trying his best. He's just he's no OG El Grande Americano.
I want Bailey to be El Grande Americano.
100%. Get who was the guy from AAA? From Triple Mania? Is it Microman? I want Microman as El Grande Americano.
Give me Worlds Collide, Almost versus Microman. I need it. Yep. I don't even want it. I need it.
Yep.
We're well off track here. Kyle says, I have to wait until Mania for Seth to lose. Gross. Yeah. You're probably going to have to wait a while. You probably have to, yeah. No problem. Anytime for the shout out. And CD says, one explanation for Seth losing to LA Knight on purpose is to make it look more believable. Do you know what? I think you on the money. I really, really do. But one thing's for sure, I think we're both on the money as well. We've gone for Seth to retain. Anything you'd like to add? You were going to mention something. Is that the match that Roman was going to have your? No, it wasn't.
No, it's this next one that we're about to talk about.
Well, there's only one match left. Should we dive into it?
Go for it.
It's John Cena versus Logan Paul, ladies and gentlemen. Your main event of the show, the match that I think many people could be disappointed with. They wanted AJ Styles versus John Cena on this show, and to according to some people I've spoken to online, they want younger talent against John Cena. Now, granted, I agree with that, but in WWE's eyes, this is the future talent. Look, I hate to admit it, but Logan Paul probably is a future world champion. It's a good chance to put someone over like a Logan Paul, and Logan Paul has those social media followers, has everything going for him that WWE likes to get someone over. John Cena versus Logan Paul, sadly, will make the money. However, WWE have made it a bit more compelling because Logan Paul has been a little bit with Drew McIntyre recently. That duo is working quite well for them both. Obviously, Drew's now going for Cody, and Logan's taking a bit of advice. He's actually knocked out John Cena at the end of SmackDown after John Cena annihilated. Yeah, twice. Yeah, to be re-recorded. So it was so bad he knocked him out twice. Yeah, but John Cena, to be fair, they had an epic promo battle with Logan Paul earlier in the evening, and he annihilated Logan Paul, explaining why fans don't like him, saying your fear is what can you take from wrestling, not what can I give to wrestling, and what can wrestling gain and give to me out. This is all about take, not giving to the product, and that's one of the reasons. Look, there's many reasons why people don't like Logan Paul, but certainly that will be one of them. But yeah, so for that reason, the match has some substance. It has been a quick build, I will give you that, but I think we need to talk about the elephant in the room first because, there could be a Logan Paul win, there could be a John Cena win, but we know WrestlePalooza's around the corner now. It's a thing. In Indianapolis, by the way, will Brock Lesnar, he will be taking on John Cena probably on that show, but will Brock Lesnar be appearing in Paris is the question I have for you to kick things off here.
Do you know what? I hadn't even thought of it because it probably makes a lot of sense for him to appear and cost Cena the match, but I genuinely want a Logan Paul clean win. For me, Logan Paul's got to win this, and he's got to do it clean. I think the way that they portrayed him on Raw, SmackDown, whatever show it was, and the way like Drew was coaching him backstage, I honestly feel like Logan needs to win, and I think he needs it clean. I mean, look, there may be some sort of shenanigans, but I don't want it to be a case of that if they are going to use Brock, I don't want it to be Brock comes out, completely destroys Cena, and then Logan Paul picks up the pieces. I want it to be like, I don't know, I want him to do it creatively and constructively where Logan Paul still comes off looking like $1 million, because like, at the end of the day, I've said it loads of time, that guy's going to be a future world champion. These are the kinds of people John Cena should be putting over. And I know it's meant to be the greatest of all time and stuff, but I think if you're going to have Roman Reigns beat Bronson Reed, that is a countermeasure for John Cena losing this match. Which is why I picked Roman Reigns to win, because that is your feel-good moment for the crowd. Roman Reigns, tribal chief, gets his win, crowd can go mad, so they can take a John Cena loss on this show.
Interesting. I like that because you're balancing, you're building one of the newer guys up, but then you're still giving a legend a win as well. So I like your philosophy of that. I see this as one of two ways. Like, either in one way, John Cena needs the win. He lost the last PLE match to Cody. He dropped the title. But at the same time, people may say to me, well, now John Cena's done the 17th world title. It's time to put some people over on the way out. And there is that argument as well. But I just don't see Cena losing clean to Logan Paul. It's Brock Lesnar if it's going to happen. I do think Brock Lesnar will be a part of Clash in Paris. I think Brock Lesnar is either going to destroy Cena after the match, like he did at SummerSlam, or he's going to cost Cena during the match. Therefore, Logan Paul gets the win. Then we can do Cena versus Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza, and then Cena can beat big bad Brock Lesnar before putting over a couple of newer stars again towards the end of the year. But yeah, I still think John Cena is one of the GOATs. So I think for me, he should still be treated as such. It's a big deal for anyone to at least share the ring with John Cena rather than always being now having to beat Cena every month until he retires.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just focusing too much on the Logan Paul Drew McIntyre dynamic, and I don't know. Maybe Logan does need to lose in the terms of a kind of like Yoda Luke Skywalker relationship between these two, because you know what I mean. The way that Logan was seen like taking in Drew's tutelage, it was like he was trying to be like, yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I do need to do this or whatever. And look, I think their chemistry and relationship is great, and I want them to do more together. So, look, I mean, if they are going to bring Brock Lesnar out, I would prefer that Cena wins, and then Brock comes out afterwards. I don't, I don't really want Brock Lesnar to. Like, what does Brock Lesnar gain by interfering in the middle of a match? Do you know what I mean? Like, he came down last time after the match, beat him up. Why come down during the match? It doesn't make sense. So, like I said, either one way, two things. Logan Paul needs a clean win, or John Cena needs to clean win, and Brock Lesnar comes down afterwards. But for me, I'm going to go with Logan Paul winning. I think it is the right thing to do.
I think you could be right of it being the right thing to do, because Logan Paul's going to be here this time in the calendar year. John Cena is not. So it is time for John Cena to pass the baton over. And like I just said a minute ago, if he's going to take on Brock Lesnar, there's one more of these big baddies that Cena should put away, and that will put more credit in the bank for Cena. And you need to have a reason for Cena versus Brock. We've had an appearance at SummerSlam, but to give it a bit something more, Brock needs to target Cena again. And I think not only to target him, but to cost him a match makes a lot more sense as well. I think if there's a ref bump in this match, you know what's going down. I think is pretty much where we're going with this. If there's a ref bump, Cena's losing. If there's no ref bump, I think Cena's winning. Which makes this incredibly hard to call. And this is the annoying part as well, because SmackDown's like a day before. So you won't have an official feeling of it's going this way until we see SmackDown. But for the purposes of this video, you said it, and CD said it as well. I think it makes the most sense. And I did say at the start of the video, the reason I've gone for Sheamus to win earlier on is because I got a bunch of heels winning all through this show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Logan Paul could be winning because it gives him all the heat in the world. He can brag that he's beat the greatest 100%. Of all time, and he puts himself.
So obnoxious and would be so good for heel heat to turn around and say, "Look, it might be the greatest of all time, but I beat him." And like, you know what I mean? Do you know what I think? Then, if you're gonna the interference win, I think almost actually probably helps him better if he does have help from like a Brock Lesnar or something, just because we all will subconsciously know that he got help to win that match. Or even if it's Drew McIntyre. Do you know what I mean? Just someone helps him win that match. And Logan Paul will be so obnoxious, but it'll be such the right thing to do for him going forward.
So here we go. Here's the scenario. This is Clash in Paris. This is your main event. It's about 20 minutes in, and this is how it's going to end for you. There's going to be a ref bump. The first person to come out to try and help Logan Paul is Drew McIntyre. In the process of Drew trying to help Logan Paul win, who will come to John Cena's aid? Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes will return at Clash in Paris and come for Drew McIntyre. They will fight through the crowd to the back, and that will leave things open and vulnerable. Just Cena, just Logan Paul. AA is hit. John Cena is waiting for a referee to go and make that pinfall. Just as he's about to get up and get that referee and try and shake him back to life, Brock Lesnar's music hits. And I think that's when Brock comes out, destroys John Cena, puts Logan on top, or Logan just crawls his way to put himself on top. Do you know, it'd be even better if Logan just got up and then put a finger on Cena, but he won't do that. He'll probably just put an arm on top of him and get the ref to count 1, 2, 3. And then Logan Paul wins, and that's it. Boom, your show is finished. But yeah, I think that's how it's going to go down.
It should also be a case of that if they do that, Logan Paul shouldn't have an absolute Scooby-Doo clue that Brock Lesnar's helped him win. Logan Paul needs to think that he's won that off of his own back, or with like the minor help from Drew, which was countered by Cody. Do you know what I mean? Because in that way, in terms of his character going forward, he can be as obnoxious, because I don't go back and watch my old matches. Do you know what I mean? Why would I go back and watch it? All I know, I was there, I lived it, I did it. Do you know what I mean? It helps so much with his character and just being an obnoxious, self-centered git. That's how it should be done.
Absolutely, indeed. And of course, by the way, the WWE swap or draft trade that they didn't tell you about, by the way, everyone knows that Sami Zayn's gone to SmackDown. Everyone knows now that LA Knight's on Monday Night Raw. No one's talking about this. Logan Paul was a Raw superstar until recently. He's been quietly drafted back to SmackDown. Do you remember that press conference before Raw went on Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
He was the big draft pull for Monday nights. He's now been pulled back over to SmackDown. He's alongside Drew McIntyre, all that Randy feud going into SummerSlam, and he's staying put on SmackDown now, the John Cena feud. You wouldn't put it past him being involved in the Drew Cody feud either, maybe even being a future challenger for Cody before the end of the year. It's interesting stuff indeed.
He'll be someone that'll end up costing Drew the match against Cody. Like, you can see it happening. Yeah, like it just all makes sense in the long run.
I smell a triple threat match, maybe at Survivor Series, between Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Cody Rhodes.
That's such a weird. Yeah, 100% I could see it happening as well, because it'd just be like, it'd be the same as the KO Randy Logan Paul match from Mania. It'd be the same sort of feeling and echelon, yeah.
Certainly would be indeed. Well, that's our predictions then for Clash in Paris. We're going to wrap things up. Just before you go, don't go anywhere, everyone, right now. We are going to be doing a live Q&A in a moment because we've been away for so long. We thought we're going to do these predictions and we're going to follow up with a Q&A. So anything you want to talk about that's not Clash in Paris, or it can be Clash in Paris if you want, can go further on what we've been talking about here. You can go onto any wrestling topic, any wrestling promotion, NXT,
TNA,
whatever you want to talk about, we're going to be there. So yeah,
the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, pretty much. We got a lot to catch up on, so we're going to do that for you tonight. But quickly before we do, we're going into the last few comments that you've all beautifully put in our comment section before we go. Kyle says, "Give it to me, give me what I want." WrestlePalooza in Indianapolis, you know he's going to be there. CD says Logan Paul wins because Brock Lesnar cost John Cena the match. There you go. Also predicting WrestleMania 42, Orton versus Punk versus Cody for the Undisputed Championship. That's a fun, tasty looking triple threat match, if I do say so myself. CD says that maybe he costs John Cena because he wants to brag that John Cena lost to a YouTuber. You can see it.
Very possibly. Yeah, very possibly.
Happen. It could happen. Maybe Brock Lesnar's F5's John Cena first, and then F5's Logan onto Cena, and Logan gets the win. That's a tasty way to do it.
Very clever. Yeah, again, another way I could see it actually happening, because again, seeing Logan can go off the whole fact of, don't know what you're talking about, I pinned Cena, I punched him, whatever. Yeah, I can see it happening.
Chef's kiss on that book in their CD. Love it. It says, wait, Logan Paul's on SmackDown. Yeah, it's been for about 2 months now.
Yeah.
Any final words, NXT, before we wrap up here today?
Chivalry. There you go. You said final words. I just couldn't. For some reason, that's the first one that popped in my head. There you go.
I mean, there you go. Well, as I said, we have a live Q&A, which I'm now going to be dropping the link, hopefully, into the chat. Give us a couple of seconds. It will be going in. But if you've enjoyed this video, do hit the like button, share with a friend, subscribe as well, all that good stuff. Because it makes us happy. End of the day, we're content creators. Any likes makes us feel like we're doing a good job. So make us happy. Please consider hitting that like button and share predictions as well in the comments below. If you're watching on delay as well, share the predictions. We really like to know who you think is going to win at Clash in Paris. And Steve, I feel like you've got some words there you want to share.
No,
I'm sure it'll make you very happy.
Comment, man. That's the best one. Get involved, man. Like, there are no stupid opinions when it comes to wrestling. We are watching grown men fake fight at the end of the day. So, do you know what I mean? Like, we might not agree with you, but hell, man, you're entitled to your opinion. Look, there are some people that have been in here before, genuinely on the wind up with some of their questions. But look, it's all fun and all games, man. But yeah, get involved, man.
That's what it's all about. That's what we love about it. But we will see you on the other side for a Q&A in a couple of moments. And if you're watching on delay, maybe that video is now being tagged and you can go and watch that video as well. Look after yourselves and each other. And of course, remember, there will be a review. And for the first time in a while, we might be able to review this on the same night of the show. We'll talk about that later in the week.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
See you soon.